Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Ryan. Today we're going to have a really good talk, but I first want to introduce, it's not just me today, it's going to be fun. To my right is Gloria Lowe, as well as to her right is Orlando Lugo. And we're going to be having a fun discussion today on establishing core values for your school. In a lot of cases, every school has its own culture. They have their own kind of what they do, their norms and practices that they are a part of at their school. And this really is important for not just their faculty, but also their staff, as well as their students and the families that are part of that school. So with that said, we're going to get on to the first topic, which is making the core values the cornerstone of what you're about. These should be non-negotiable. Really, it comes down to these things are the most important element of your school, that it's what you stand for. So when it comes to your core values, these should be the corner. And when I say cornerstone, it's in a sense the foundation upon which your organization, your school is built. There shouldn't be wiggle room. There shouldn't be, oh, this is what we stand for. Sometimes. No. It's this is what we stand for. This is what we're about all the time.
It's cool because core values help you communicate your school story and its mission. So it's very important to have that said since the beginning.
Yeah, it shouldn't be something that you come in and out of. It should be something that this is what we're about, this is who we are. And in a sense, it should almost be take it or leave it. Because the worst thing you can do is have a family that says, oh, but we don't align with the core values of the school. More than likely that family will become a problem, or there's gonna be conflict.
They're just not a fit.
They're just not a fit. So, and if you can kind of stick to that standard, and I know I'm saying it from a very, this is easy to do. No, it's not easy to do. It's actually the hardest thing to do from a leadership team, from a board, from a governing body over a school to in a sense create your core values. So with that said, I do have a really good quote, and I'd like to get you to chime in here, Orlando. If you're not willing to accept the pain real values incur, don't bother going to the trouble of formulating a values statement. I love Patrick Lencioni. He really does a good job on really organizational leadership and behavior. And this is one that really, it's important. If you're not willing to understand and go through the pain, then don't even waste your time. Orlando, thoughts?
And part of that is, if you're going to put a slogan up on the wall, make sure you're following it. That's basically it. And so it should happen in the business office. It should happen in the classroom. It should happen when your kids are playing a sport against another school. It has to be reflected in everything you do. So if you're going to put it on the wall, make sure you live it.
Yeah. And it's interesting you said that about kids' school, because our kids play sports, and we just went to one of our son. He's competing in sport, and they went through the core values of the school. Which was like, I was like, oh, why are they doing this? We know this, but wait a second. That's okay to remind your families and your staff and your team, this is what we're all about. They said when our students are wearing the jersey and they're going to whatever, Publix, or they're going to Culver's or a local restaurant to eat, they're representing the school. It's not just the core values, but it's the brand. So you got to remember that, and it was a good reminder for me. Orlando, I want you to kind of think about this for a minute. How does a school when it comes to advancing the belonging of a school, what are your thoughts on how that comes into play?
So I'm going to go a little bit off topic here now. I'm thinking of John Lennon singing "Come Together Right Now Over Me," right? So it's a rallying point, right? Right now I belong to a small church, and we all come from different other churches, and now we're kind of starting this new church. Everybody has a different idea of what a church should be. And so one of the first things that the pastor did was he shared the values of this church. He's trying to get a rallying point, a place where we can all connect. So in our emphasis on unity and diversity, we want to find a place where we can all connect. And then from there, hopefully then communicate to everybody else, this is who we stand as a school.
So that's really good. Yeah, it's really important. And that the same thing comes into how a school should look at that. You're going to belonging and really core values doesn't mean a lack of diversity. I think it should be the opposite. Yeah. It should be, let's create our core values with, in a sense, inclusivity, where anyone can align with it, if they align with it. If it's something where there's no, we don't, then okay, wait a second, maybe this isn't the fit for you. Right. Gloria and I both looked at schools for our kids, and we wanted technology-focused schools, STEAM or STEM schools at the minimum, just because that's what we value that.
Yeah.
And we visited a school that was the opposite of that.
Yeah.
They said, no, we don't have
classic education.
Yeah, and they were
Which that is a good thing, but it was just not right for us.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
It's just this school. This is what identifies us,
Yeah.
right? This is part of
Right.
our values, and so
Right.
and then you can decide whether that's good for my
Exactly.
kid or not.
Yeah.
That's really it.
And that's what it came down to us. Although we love technology, we want a school that caters to that and provides that. Not every parent wants that, and that's totally fine. It just so that's a perfect fit where it has nothing to do with, including it's what are your goals as a family and what school makes sense for you. And that's the same thing with churches, the same thing with organizations, clubs, community centers. You want to make sure there is a fit there, or why are you doing it then? Just to
and like the slide says, if you start negotiating, you're going to become inconsistent. So plan it, make sure you understand what the values are for. But once you implement them, then don't be afraid to move forward with that. Because sometimes when you negotiate, you start becoming inconsistent, and you don't want to be sending out an inconsistent message. You want to be sending out everywhere, and anything and everything in your school should reflect those values, and so you have to be consistent on that.
100%. I want to have Gloria share something that really, how is this in practice? TuitionEP, we have a set of vision, mission, core values. Gloria, do you care to share?
And these are our mission, vision, core values. Is our vision to create relevant solutions to enable organizations to focus their customers and what they do best. Our mission, serve Christ by providing agile payment processing solutions. And then our core values is responsible stewardship, customer focus, and kingdom oriented. So we got together when we first had this idea, and we're like, okay, before we start hiring people, before we got a logo, before the colors and what the actual app was gonna look like, we need to think about all these important things because it does matter at the end of the day. And like we've been talking about, we cannot, it just helps sharing our story to our potential clients.
Yeah. This idea, although I love the whole idea of payment processing, it's much more than that. I saw a need for schools were suffering. They're like, we can't, the bookkeeping's out of control. They have parents in the rears, and it was very tough for them to understand, why can't we make this easier? And I talked to Gloria, I said, hey, we work with schools across the board. Pretty much the majority of our clients and partnerships are with schools. Why can't we help them with this? This should be an easy process. This should be a business side of the house, but it should be an easy process.
And it's a way of letting everybody know in our company that it's more than a business.
Yeah.
We're helping schools provide the service they provide, which is critical for any society, right? Schools are critical. And so we want to make sure that schools are happy, the parents are happy, and we help schools service their community. So, and everybody in the company understands that and sees it that way.
When it comes down to really setting yourself apart, you don't want to just say, our core values are this other school's core values. That's the same. We're the same. Let's take it, 2 Catholic schools. Well, they should have different core values. Now, should they have some things that are similar? Of course. 2 Baptist schools, 2 independent schools, 2 Montessori schools. Should they have similar characteristics? Yeah, they should have similar lines of DNA, but really they should be unique to the community and the culture that they're serving in the area they're in. So always make sure that you're setting yourself apart. And when I always think of this, I think of it as a very similar to brand, and I love brand. But when others talk about it, well, this school is amazing because of X. And I also love what they do because of Y. Well, what is your X and your Y? What are the 2 things that they're talking about that set you apart from other schools? Really, those are your core values. It might not be in your mission statement and core, in your vision, but it should be. But it's okay if it's not. Those things are the things that set you apart.
Interesting with this is, sooner or later, somebody's going to ask you, why should my kid be in this school? What makes you different, right? And what you don't want to do is start criticizing other schools.
Exactly.
What you want to promote is, this is who we are. This is who we are. This is how we do things. And that's going to be attractive to that family, right? So.
Thank you so much, guys. I want to make sure you comment, like, share, pound that bell, and What else am I supposed to say? I always mess this part up.
Follow us on
Follow
social.
us. And if you have questions, please feel free to write in the comments. Thank you so much, and really look forward. This is a tough topic. Be encouraged. Don't be discouraged, and take time doing this. Thank you so much, guys.